Hi there, welcome to Be Live. My name is Susan Fleischman. I'm the Executive Director of Cambridge Community Television, and I'm here on my show called Not for Nothing, where I have the great privilege to interview nonprofit executive directors and presidents of nonprofit organizations from around the community. And tonight I have the good fortune of interviewing Audrey Schulman from HEET, which stands for
Home Energy Efficiency Team.
Great, great. So HEET is, from my reading of your materials, you're interested in training people, giving them skills and the knowledge of how to really protect our natural resources and to keep our energy bills down, both, right?
Right. To both fight climate change and protect the planet and to save money.
Mm-hmm.
It help people and help the planet at the same time.
That's pretty awesome. In 2008, was that the first time that there was one of these? Tell me what the first.
So it started off during when President Bush was in office, and we were all depressed about climate change and what the U.S. was not doing. So we organized a work party where volunteers could learn the skills to lower the energy use in their own homes. And it was a totally rainy day. There was like a monsoon outside. We didn't tell many people, and still 40 people turned up.
That's amazing.
Just so thrilled to be there to learn how to help the planet and lower their own energy bills. And since then, we've just kept on doing it, and it's grown and grown. So now we're working in the buildings of nonprofits, in churches and community centers, preschools, homeless shelters, anything where we can reach a diverse community to teach them lots of skills, and also to help the nonprofit lower its energy bills so that we can help the nonprofit deliver more community services. So there's more money to help the homeless. There's more money to teach dance in the dance complex or wherever.
Yeah, I really like the idea that you're trying to hit all these different constituents, which really goes across the board. So residents, nonprofits, and small businesses. And,
Yeah.
Are your initiatives focused on any one particular constituency, or you're trying to evenly reach all of those constituencies?
We're trying to help whoever we can help most easily in the best way we can. So right now we've anything that will help fight climate change most effectively while helping people lower their energy bills. So like over the summer we had a national gas expert who'd been in the field for 30 years drive down every street in Cambridge and Somerville with a high precision gas analyzer to find everywhere where there's a leak in the pipes under the street, the natural gas pipes. And natural gas is methane, which is a very, very powerful greenhouse gas. So we wanted to find out where the methane was entering the atmosphere from leaks under the street, which is a potential hazard, can explode.
I would think so. That's scary.
And it's a waste, right? It's wasting all of our money because the utilities don't pay for that money. They factor that into the price of the gas we all pay for in our homes. So, and in Somerville, we found the average household that uses gas is paying over $100 per year for this lost gas, and that the amount of gas being lost in terms of the damage it does to the climate is bigger than the carbon emitted by all the cars driven in Somerville.
Wow, that's an amazing statistic.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. I never really thought about it. I mean, we hear about when there's a gas leak and there's a huge explosion, but I never thought about like sort of small leaks that may never cause any overt damage or any obvious damage. That's really kind of amazing. The utility companies own the pipes?
They own the pipes, they repair the pipes, and they repair them promptly when it's potential explosion.
Sure.
But they are not mandated to fix any pipes that are just simply leaking. So it could be a huge leak, but so long as it's far away from any potential explosion, they are not only not mandated to fix it, but they don't have to fix it. I mean, like, they're not supposed to fix it because they're not supposed to waste money.
Uh-huh.
But it is wasting money because we
Sure.
all end up paying for it.
So when you say that it's not likely to cause an explosion, so these small leaks under the ground are not likely to cause an explosion because they don't come into contact with anything that would?
Well, they have to be, it has to be the right, I think it's 14% gas or less, methane or less, because natural gas is methane.
Mhm.
So 14% methane or less with a lot of oxygen can potentially make an explosion.
Uh-huh.
So if it's a totally contained space, it can be 100% methane. It's not going to
There's
explode.
no oxygen.
No worries. If it's out, if it's leaking into the atmosphere,
Uh-huh.
not being contained, it can keep leaking forever, and nobody's supposed to,
But if it's there and unbeknownst to people who might dig into the street or something like that and bring
Yeah.
oxygen into the.
Yeah, so that's why they do the regular.
Yeah.
But still a continuous waste. And we're also doing, and we publish the maps on our website. So if you're wondering if your house is near, if you've been smelling gas, first call the
Well, they always
utility
tell you,
company.
Yeah.
Because it is a potential explosion.
Mhm.
But also, we publish the maps on our website. So if you live in Cambridge or Somerville, you can for the first time find out where the gas leaks are.
That's your program, Squeaky Leak.
Squeaky Leak. And then we also have help for houses of worship.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of, we work in a lot of nonprofits, especially houses of worship, that they, the boiler is from the 1960s, and
Mhm.
there's no insulation in the building, and it's oil heat.
The windows are all leaky. and-
Rattly,
yeah.
and it breaks my heart.
Mhm.
They've got a homeless shelter in the basement,
Mhm.
they have AA meetings, and they're spending all their money not on doing these wonderful services, but instead on paying for fossil fuels.
Hmm.
So what we've done is we've gotten an energy efficiency developer who is, they're companies that normally do installations, energy efficiency installations in very large factories.
Mhm.
But I've managed to persuade one that because I'm aggregating a lot of houses of worship and nonprofits
Mhm.
together, the investment size will be big enough that they will install energy efficiency equipment,
Mhm.
put the new boiler in,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
Upgrade the lighting.
Mhm.
And do it so that the energy bills, the savings from those pay back
Mhm.
for the boiler.
Mhm.
So there's no capital costs for the houses of worship. There's no, or nonprofits. There's, you don't have to pay anything up front. The energy efficiency developer will own, insure, and maintain the measures.
Wow.
So it's like no problem. And you can just finally
Hmm.
switch out that incredibly old boiler and get some insulation and get a lighting upgrade,
Mhm.
so that the place can save money and help people more.
Mhm. That's really wonderful, because a lot of houses of worship own the building, which is not true of all nonprofits. Some nonprofits do own their buildings, but
Yeah.
often that makes them cash poor. I mean,
Right.
they have this property, but they can't realize any money from it unless they sell it, so they can't really maintain it, because
Yeah.
they don't have the money to do it. That's kind of interesting. You also have a program that I had to, what does this mean? Help for HOGs.
Yes.
So these are HOGs other than houses of worship and nonprofits?
Well, it is, in that case, there's many programs, they're all confusing.
Uh-huh.
Help for Hogs is pretty much the same as Help for House, except
Mhm.
for it includes nonprofits, and it's in Salem and Quincy.
I see.
But basically, anybody any nonprofit or house of worship that's owner occupied
Hmm.
in Cambridge, Boston, Salem, or Quincy, we will help them lower their energy bills
Mhm.
and, do incredibly large upgrades, comprehensive upgrades that
Mhm.
they've never been able to do before, and pay for it through their energy bill savings.
Mhm. But, it's really interesting to me that HEET is something that sort of sounds like it derived from a very high-level mission, which
Mm.
was to have an impact on climate change. And I think it's rare that we can go from an idea like that to something that is really concrete that we can do about it. And
Yeah.
so who masterminded that?
There's a group of us.
Mhm.
I mean, and we're all interested in the practical.
Mhm.
There's many groups that are working on legislation, working on, contacting the congressman or those sorts of things. We don't do that. We help people practically in their homes, in their buildings, make this space right here, this neighborhood, this city, more healthy, spend less money on fossil fuels, and have more community services. So we're through fighting climate change, we manage to help the communities in a whole bunch of ways.
I think that's really, really admirable. And I wonder, is it easy for you to get the word out about your services, or is that one of the kind of things that's difficult for you to do?
No, I mean, we're always looking for more nonprofits, more houses of worship to help. So doing this and getting the word out so that anybody who's listening, if you are a member of a community center, if you're a member of a church, if you're part of a mosque or anything, and your energy bills are high, contact us, because we can help.
And how are you funded?
Yeah,
that's what I thought. No, it sounds like you do have partners on your website, so I imagine.
Yeah, we are partnered with several different utilities, and they pay for some of our work, but primarily we're grant funded. So in order to continue to get grants, we have to be able to show that we're really cutting energy use and doing our job effectively. And that's how the utilities pay us also. So we get paid to help you.
That's great. Well, I'm going to maybe ask you some questions from a somewhat personal point of view. Like, I'm a homeowner in Cambridge. I live in a 3-family, and I have a flat roof, and it would seem like a really good spot for solar.
Great.
I think I went to something, or I went online and saw that it wouldn't be cost effective for us, or so. How is it determined? What can you do for me, or what would you tell me?
So first off, I would contact a solar installer. There's a variety of different options on the web to sort of like look at your site to see if it's got good solar, but some of those are not accurate. So I would first call up a solar installer and say, hey, do I have good solar? They will Google your site from a distance. It's it takes no time. Nobody's going to be intrusive, and they'll tell you. And if it looks like it's good, if it looks like you got good solar potential, they'll come and do a site assessment. And there's incredibly great rebates and incentives, and also great deals, so that you can basically rent your roof. Somebody else will pay for the installation and give you the green energy, and basically rent your roof for solar. Or you can just buy them outright and get more money back from that.
It also, sometimes it generates additional power, right, that can be sold back to the grid or something?
Yes, yeah, if you, during the day, you might not be home, in which case and therefore not using electricity, it will go back into the grid, and other people will use it. At night, when you come home and you turn on the lights and everything like that, you'll be drawing from the grid. But any excess energy you generate, you get paid for. And you also get paid for the renewable energy credits. There's a whole series of mechanisms by which you can make money doing this while you're doing good. But in general, everybody focuses on solar because it's large and glittery and there on the roof and everybody can stare at it. But the cheapest way to help the planet and help you lower your energy bill is energy efficiency. It's the ugly stepsister, but doing a lot more work a lot more effectively. So first, go to Mass Save. There's a website. You can just call up, get a free energy assessment. They will install a lot of fantastic energy efficiency gadgets and tell you where your home needs more work. They will give you 75% rebates instant for insulation and many other things. So they're always the first people to reach out to. And then after you've got the energy efficiency, then take the next step to solar if you can.
Again, what I really like about this is you're approaching people from a point of view. It's not political. It's like, this is a cost savings. I mean, there's political underpinning in this whole concept of climate change, because there are people who are climate change deniers. But you're not getting into any of that. You're just saying you can save money by doing this, and you're doing good for the planet.
And you get green local jobs. You increase the comfort in your home. You decrease the problems with the grid during the summer when it's really hot, because that's when the solar will increase the most power, will create the most power when we're using the most AC. So it just helps out, right?
It just makes a lot of sense. So how do people get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me through our website, HEET, HEET, MA.org. And there's, contact information there. We also, I should mention, we have the Race to Solar, which is a way for nonprofits. This is a Race to Solar, way for nonprofits to get solar on their roofs, because nonprofits aren't able to get as many incentives and rebates as homeowners.
Because we don't pay taxes.
So this is a way to help you get a really good discount and get it quickly and easily. And that's only for 3 more months, so if you're a nonprofit and you want solar, contact us quickly.
Interesting. I want to just veer a little bit into the personal, because I couldn't help but notice on your website that you're a novelist.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
I'm a novelist. I have 4 novels published. The last one was 3 weeks in December, which got the Cambridge Public Library chose as the Cambridge Reads.
Really?
Yeah, it was really fun.
Oh, wow.
My kids were all excited. And I've done, it's been great. Got a New Yorker, lots of New Yorker reviews and things like that, New York Times.
Great. That's great. So is this something that takes you out of your work life and feeds you in that way?
No, they more like the work with HEET and the work with my writing are like this, with my family like this.
Okay.
So it's just how much can I squeeze out in one day?
Okay, I get that. How old are your kids?
12 and 14.
Okay, so you're just sort of getting into another phase.
Era, yeah.
And
so they're very good kids, but they should stop watching TV.
That's right. Hopefully they're not watching now. I was going to ask you about the green jobs, because I never thought about saving the planet and also creating jobs at the same time. Let's talk about that.
So you can outsource a lot of work, but you can't outsource who's installing your insulation, right? Nobody from India can come over and telemarket their way into the insulation in your walls, right? So we get green local jobs.
It's hands-on.
It's hands-on. They got to be here. It feeds money into the community. It saves you money. It just and that has an incredible sort of multiplier effect, and it's just great, and it helps people who the jobs tend to be middle income or lower income. So it's helping people who really need jobs right now during this economy. It's not helping like the top part of Walmart, the executive, whatever,
the stockholders,
the 1%.
The shareholders.
It's helping the 90% instead.
Yeah.
And so it's just doing those things is really it's yet another good.
Well, it seems like HEET's work really feeds the sustainability of the community in a lot of ways. And I'm wondering if you're working with other organizations that maybe are looking at local sustainability and maybe in different aspects. Is there any consortium of such groups that maybe aren't necessarily dealing with climate change, but are dealing with local food movement or other things that are considered part of a sustainability movement for a community?
We work with a lot of organizations that do, look at sustainability in different ways. And we're all working at things as fast as we can together to get that done. I think it doesn't matter whether somebody's, it also helps the planet and helps keep people healthy and happy and in a good community. And that's what, so by helping Cambridge Community Center lower their energy bills, and they can do the farmers market, then, it's all integral, right, to each other.
But yeah, is that a sort of a stated outcome? Because I never really thought about it before, that these sustainable organizations working on sustainability are essentially, as you say, working in lockstep to make the community a better place. Does that get discussed? Among sustainability organizations?
Yeah, we can't. HEET itself can't take on local food also, but it's everybody like on the board, there's somebody who is the head of the, what's it called, LURC, Local Urban Canners. So it's, LURC does this, maps all the fruit trees in Cambridge so that people know where the fruit trees are, and they go and they knock on the door and say like, hey, you got a peach tree back there, can we pick the fruit, we'll can it for you and you get some of it. So people who are interested in sustainability in one way are interested in sustainability in another way, right? So it's all in, we all work together.
Yeah, well, I'm also thinking about the Cambridge Local First movement, which is, shop local.
Yep.
I don't know, I just never thought about it altogether, so it's really interesting.
No, that's when we help small businesses, we're primarily helping local small businesses. We can't go into OSCO and talk them into an energy upgrade because OSCO makes that decision at the corporate level.
Sure.
So we go into the small businesses to say like, hey, we can help you, here's how. And so we help small businesses that way. We help, this community here and now.
Excuse me, sorry. Forgot to shut my phone off. Yeah, that's really makes a whole lot of sense, and I just are you a member like of Cambridge Local First and some of those business organizations?
No, I'm so overwhelmed.
I can understand. I can understand. There's a lot of work. I just think about, for example, so CCTV can help you with some of the work that you're trying to do in terms of community education. So in addition to a show like this, we could also think about having some educational shows that we could record here. And,
that would be great. Because we have our Honest Book of Home Energy Savings.
Yes, I wanted to mention that too. Please talk about that.
From our work in over 200 buildings, saving several $1 million in energy bills and water bills, and helping to teach over 3,000 volunteers, we've learned how to, what tasks in New England homes work to save energy most effectively. So we wrote a book about it, and we had Michael Blasnick, who's this great guy who has seen more utility bills than anybody else in the country, help us quantify exactly how much energy you would save for each one of these tasks. So the book is very simple to understand. It's got fantastic, clear pictures. It quantifies how much energy you will save, and there's little calculators, so you can type in like 3 showers a week, 10 minutes long. Here's my current faucet, shower head water use. Here's the one I'm switching it to. How much will I save? And it'll tell you. So it's not a lot of energy books will make all sorts of crass generalizations that you will save the same amount in Nevada as in North Dakota. And it's silly. So we're talking about New England, we're talking about your home, how you use energy, and what you should do first.
What I really like about that is that you can do it yourself. So you don't have to, if you don't want to call Mass Save and do all that, which is not really that big a deal. I've had somebody come to my house. It's not
They're
that big a deal.
very nice.
Very
people.
nice, and they help and replace your light bulbs and stuff like that. But if you want to study up on it first, or do some things yourself, so you can download this book. It's $9.99, right?
Yep.
To a Kindle, to an iPad, to PDF,
just your
computer, and read up on some of these things that you can do yourself, which I think is incredibly helpful. I just, it's really interesting to me, I get to interview people on this show, and then I get to really find out about your organizations. And of course, I've known about HEET, and I've known about you for a while, but I never knew so much of what you do. It's like, as I said, it's taking this sort of idealistic kind of mission and really putting it into practice in a really concrete way, and I really think that's awesome. Thank you for doing that. So if people want to find you, again, it's HEETMA, HEETMA.org.
Right.
And you do accept donations, and this is an important time of year.
Hey, it's December.
Yeah.
You want to get rid of your money so you don't have to pay
Quickly,
taxes, right? I can help.
Yes. Just call Audrey. She'll help you out and tell you how you can support the work of this incredible organization. So I'm just going to take a look at some of the photos on your website. So the Race to Solar, we pointed out here that, so you helped
That's
the Cambridgeport.
Cambridgeport Baptist.
That's
The
amazing.
solar that we helped, and the other one was First Parish in Arlington.
Uh-huh.
It's right where Route 60 hits, I think, Mass Ave.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievably beautiful. So, and that was done by Sunbug Solar, wonderful solar installer.
Uh-huh.
Angie List, superstar.
Uh-huh. We're not supposed to do anything commercial, but
Oh, I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. That's a good shout out. That's
Okay,
cool.
no, they're just
That's
nice
cool.
folk. I
Yeah.
like them. Can't help it.
And here's where you can get the honest book. Which
So,
is,
yeah.
go ahead.
We got, like I said, wonderful photos, step-by-step directions. Look at those pretty photos.
Yeah, really nice.
PDF, so you don't have to read it on your Kindle if you don't like to read things on your Kindle or on your iPad or whatever.
Yeah,
But if you read it on the iPad, it's the prettiest.
really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's really pretty.
That's nice. Well, I also, we were talking before the show started about thermography.
Yeah.
And I know that you're not doing that right now, but tell us about thermography a little bit. We've just got about another minute, and I thought it was really interesting.
Okay, so it's possible to basically do sort of a Google Street View type of thing where you put a thermal camera on top of the car and drive down every street. So we had a company do that so that we took a photo of every building in Cambridge with a thermal camera. So on a really cold winter night, so we could see who was missing insulation, who had problems with a lot of drafts or things like that. And then we could send the information to people saying, with a picture of their building, saying this is a problem. You should do something about it. Call Mass Save, and Mass Save is free. And that's always a really important thing to say. We all pay for it with our energy bills. It's a surcharge. So you've already paid for the service, you might as well use it. Call them up and get some help.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being on my show tonight.
thank
I really
you.
appreciate it. And that's HEET, HEETMA.org, if you want to get a hold of Audrey and hear more about what they do. And thank